Hi, welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy and I'm your host. And today I am coming to you on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. The Toronto Air Show is happening, and on cue there is a fighter jet going over top. That might happen a few times today, so hopefully you'll bear with me. It doesn't happen every second, luckily, of the podcast, but every once in a while we'll be hearing that. So welcome to the podcast. As I said, my name's Tracy and I am Tracy RR on Ravelry, and I am Comfy Red Couch on Instagram. So hopefully, as I said, the planes won't take away too much from the podcast, but they might have me looking up in the sky every so often, even though I can't see them from where I am right now, and wondering what plane's flying overhead now. So it is the Labor Day weekend in Canada, and the Canadian exhibition, the Toronto, it's a big Canadian National Exhibition in Toronto. Every Labor Day weekend they have an air show, and we saw them practicing on Thursday and Friday. So I looked out my window at work and it was kind of neat. I saw a really big plane and it was refueling two fighter jets. So that was kind of interesting to see out of my work window. And so as I said, you'll hopefully bear with me as every once in a while a plane will fly overhead, and here it comes again. Anyway, a huge welcome back to anybody who's a returning viewer. Thank you for coming to visit with me and spending some time with me. And for anybody who's new to the podcast, welcome. I hope that you're able to bear with me as I sort of giggle through the planes flying overhead. And I've got some lovely yarny goodness to share with you. I've got some new tea to share as well, and a new tea mug. And no sewing. I'm still sort of working on getting that room a little bit more organized. Plus, I've got so many knitting projects that are on the needles needing to get done that the sewing has had to take a back seat. So there won't be Material Girl for probably at least the month of September, but I'm hoping in the fall that I will get to some sewing soon. Yesterday I was just really wanting to get some sewing, but I just at this point have too many other things that are needing to get done before then. So sewing bug is really biting, but as I said, needs to hold on. But I did cast on a new sock, so I've got that for It's a Sockness, and I've got some wonderful packages to share on brown paper packages. But first off, I think it's time to start off with some tea time, because I'm needing some caffeine, and all those planes overhead will be distracting me, so I need to have a little bit of tea. And this week I have a brand new special tea mug to share with you. And it was funny, earlier this week I said to my husband I was really wanting a Lush bath bomb, and I said, why don't you just run over to the Eaton Center and get me a bath bomb? He did. It's 3.5 kilometers away. It might be 3.6 depending on which route you take. He ran to the Eaton Center and got me some Lush bath bombs and some of my favorite hand cream, which is Lemony Flutter. It's a cuticle butter, but it's really nice for the hands. And I said, and while you're there, maybe you could pick me up a tea mug. He forgot, but he did go yesterday. He didn't run back this time, but he did buy me a beautiful mug from David. This is the back of the tea mug, and the front, little sheep. So love the front, love the back, and on top is this lovely little cover to keep it warm, because my tea always gets cold. And inside I have David's blueberry jam tea, and it's got a lovely little filter. So what I will do is take my filter out, put it on top of my lid, and now I can finally enjoy some caffeinated tea. So, for tea time, David's organic blueberry jam tea and my new mug. Cheers. And oh wow, it tastes really good. It's been steeping a very long time because I've had a bit of a hard time just sort of starting the podcast today. And I like holding it this way, so you're going to have to see the rear end of the sheep. Sorry, it's at least a cute rear end. So, I hope you've got your tea mug, I hope you've got your project bag, and that you are ready to join me for this episode. So, tea time is not quite over yet. So not only did I get a wonderful mug this week from my husband, I got an amazing package. And where normally I would share this on brown paper packages, I needed to share this in tea time because this is an amazing tea package. And Karina from Tasmania and I did a bit of a swap. And so I sent her some yarn and some tea. And she sent me a ton of yarn and a ton of tea, and I'm feeling super spoiled and just blown away by the package I received on Friday. So Karina's from Tasmania, and she runs a bed and breakfast down there called the Mount Roland Country Lodge, and what she sent me was this beautiful, beautiful box of Australian tea. So it's T2 made in Oz. So inside are 5 wonderful little boxes of tea. And this one here, I believe, is Australian wattle tea. And then this one is Bondi. And I have actually been to Bondi Beach, so I'm really excited to try that one. This is Daintree. This one is Gone Surfing. And when I was in Australia, I tried surfing. It's hard. I am not a surfer. So I'm happy to drink the Gone Surfing tea and not go surfing. And then the final one in the package is Just Lemon Myrtle. So I'm super excited to try these teas out. I wanted to wait until I had shown them on the podcast. And cute little boxes of tea, and so excited to try these. So huge thank you to Karina. I hope your package arrives shortly. There might be some David's tea in your package, and I hope you like it as much as I'm sure I'm going to love this Australian tea. If I ever have the chance to get back to Australia, going to Tasmania, because I didn't make it to Tasmania my first time, and maybe even staying at the Mount Roland Country House bed and breakfast, because that sounds like an amazing place to stay. So even if there is snow in July and August, don't love that so much, but hopefully I'll go in their summer rather than my summer here. So that is tea time for this week. This, a new mug. I've had a pretty good tea week for sure. So cheers to that. I finally cast on another pair of socks, and I have them in my brand new Maker bag. And I got this bag this week from Cheryl of Busy Bird Bags. And funny story behind this, because this is the beautiful envelope that the bag came in, and I just put Post-its over the addresses. This bag was missent to Sweden. It's from Michigan, which borders Ontario, and I Googled it, the address to the address. It would have been a 7-hour and 40-minute drive if we had taken just regular, car delivery. And this got sent to Sweden. Airmail, I'm assuming. Why? I have no idea. So this bag has traveled more than I have this summer. So I would love to know the tales it has to tell. But inside this wonderful Maker bag, because as soon as I saw this on Instagram, Instagram is dangerous, I had to go to Cheryl's store and buy this bag. And so this is a very cute drawstring. It says Maker, and there's a lovely little progress keeper on it. Inside, lovely polka dots. And again, this should probably be in my brown paper packages section, but I needed to put some socks in this, so that's why you're getting to see this a little bit early. Plus, I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about the fact that it got missent to Sweden. Again, how? Who knows? Anyway, inside for It's a Sockness in my Maker bag, I have a pair of already finished socks. But I also have the yarn for the matching, because if you are a long-term viewer, you will know that these are my Beauty and the Beast socks, and I gave these the project name Chapter 3. And they don't match because they are La Belle et la Bête from Mustache Yarns, and it was a special colorway done by Little Skein in the Big Wool. And so you got one ball of the La Bête, or one skein, I guess, one skein of the La Belle, and then you were to make mismatched socks. I do not love mismatched socks, so I bought two of the double skeins, or two of the skeins, two of the La Belle et la Bête. And so because I want to wear these soon, I needed to cast on these here. So I've decided I'm going to do, first off, the last time I did them, I did the La Bêtes first. This time I'm going to do them second. And I did the La Belles second, and now I'm going to do it first. Now, I did cast on last night, and I'm just doing the, just a vanilla sock that I've just been working on. Project notes are in my Ravelry page, 72 cast on, 1x1 rib, and then just straight stockinette all the way down. The only problem I've had is that they are not going to be an exact match, and even though I sort of went through the yarn to see if I would have enough to try and start with the blue, I wasn't going to, so I'm going to suck it up, and I'm going to have them a little bit mismatched, but it's not the end of the world. So I cast those on yesterday, got the cuff done, and now these are going to be my work socks, because now that I'm back to work, I love to sit down in the morning for a few minutes and just sort of take some breathing time, and once this part's done, it's just smooth sailing and see how long it takes me. So I now have another pair of work socks on, and we'll see when I actually have my bells done so that I can wear those as a pair. So I'm hoping sometime in October I'd like to have these done, and I do them a little bit, as I said, at work. I do them when I'm in the waiting office at the doctor's office, or if I'm taking transit, I do them on the transit. So they don't get a lot of love at home other than the heels and the toes, and a little bit of the gusset, but I just slowly work through them so that every resting moment I have, it's not completely a wasted time. So anyway, I was excited to get these on the needles yesterday, and I'll show you where I am next week. Another thing that I did this week for It's a Sockness is I downloaded the Clark Socks pattern by Jacqueline Salem, and I'm looking forward to getting those on the needles at some point. So I was looking through my stash trying to figure out which colorway I would like to use to do those. I have some yarn in mind, and I have a hedgehog skein called Tapestry that I'm thinking I might use, but then I also have some thoughts of doing something orange with it, so very like an autumnal type of orange, but I'll figure that out, and you'll see it on It's a Sockness at some time in the fall, hopefully. On my favorite things this week, I have a finished object to share. And if you've tuned in before, you'll know that I did a test knit for the Mix and Match sweater by Mina Phillip and of Knitting Expat. I started this a couple of weeks ago and I just bound off yesterday. And I also used one of my swatches for a pocket in the center because I don't like to waste yarn, so I figured it looked kind of cute and it was a great place for him to put his hands. He wanted it so that he could pop things into the pocket, but I've got it so he can put his hands sideways. It is still a little bit wet because I put it in the soak to block yesterday and laid it flat to dry. So the front of the sweater has a lovely pocket on it, and the hands can go in and across because I thought I don't want to waste the swatch. And because Nathaniel's not home until tomorrow, he's gone to my parents overnight, I won't be able to have him try it on. So I was kind of hoping to have him try it on and model it on the podcast, but unfortunately he is not going to be home until tomorrow, and the podcast will hopefully go up later today, so maybe next week we'll be able to see Nathaniel in it, or I'll definitely put a picture on Instagram. So anyway, this is his Mix and Match sweater. It is the size 7/8. It has stretched out crazy big. So, I mean, it might be a size 9-10. I'm not sure. We'll see. He's a pretty skinny kid, so it's much better to be too big than too small, I think, at this point. So, anyway, this is my first sweater that I've done in a very long time, and a huge thank you to Mina for letting me test knit it. It definitely bolstered my confidence. I'm going to need to put a tag in this so that it's got a little bit of a personalization from Mom, a nice little maybe navy blue handmade by Tracy tag in here. I think will be just what the doctor ordered. Anyway, so it is stretching out because it is still quite damp, and I'll have to lay it flat to continue drying, and hopefully that'll give us a better idea of the fit as well. So anyway, finished object, so that was fantastic. Another thing that I was supposed to work on this week, and I did not, is my Scottish Thistles Nova Scotia, and it has actually seen no love in the past couple of weeks. So I showed this on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. I am supposed to go to a shower next weekend, and I was originally hoping to have this done for the shower. I need to be realistic. It was a super busy week at work last week. It's going to be incredibly busy this upcoming week. So the wedding is not till November. I think what I will do is take it to the shower with me. My aim is to have 6 more rows done on this, and 3 of those rows are beaded. So that will give, and the bride saw it last week when she stopped by to visit me. And so she knows it's coming. It just may take a little bit longer than I had originally planned, and I want it to be done well, so I'd rather do it a little bit slowly than rush through, make a mistake, and then have to spend hours tinking back and with perhaps lots of swearing involved. So while this won't be done for the shower this coming week, it will be done in time for the wedding, and in the grand scheme of things, that is all that matters. So sometimes you just have to be a little kind to yourself and give yourself a deadline that is a little bit more reasonable. And to have this done by next Saturday was not going to be happening. So hopefully next week I'll be able to show you some progress and with the beads on it. And as I said, my goal is to get at least 6 rows done by the shower, because they are beading rows, and if I have a little bit more done, even better. So in the meantime, it will stay in my princess bag until it gets a bit of love, which I'm hoping to give it tomorrow. If you've been watching the podcast for the past little while, you will know what is in this bag here. And inside here is my Lemon Difficult by Kate Atherley. And I am loving this pattern. I'm really enjoying doing brioche. And last night I was feeling super guilty because I had put the progress marker on last week and it had no love from me because I spent most of my week working or working on the mix and match sweater. And so last night I sat down and watched a couple of podcasts and just started knitting away on this brioche project. I could have stayed awake all night long working on this because I love working on it so much. So if you've tuned in before, you will know that I am using Lichen and Lace, and I am using the Calm Waters and the Wildflowers colorway. And here's my little counter that I got from Nora George because I need to keep track still of my repeats so that I can make sure I don't miss any increase rows. And if you've been watching for the past little while, you will know that every time I podcast, I've been putting a new progress keeper on to show you my progress along the way. And last week I put on this lovely little pina colada progress marker. And last night I did about 3 or 4 repeats. I think I did 4, but 4. Yeah, I did 4. So last night I did 4 repeats of the brioche, and I just did not want to put this down. So I'm really hoping tomorrow, in addition to working on my Scottish Thistles Nova Scotia shawl, that the brioche is going to get some love. But today it is now time to put on the progress keeper that I showed last week. And this was my special Sucre Miniatures Harry Potter Club. And it is such a cool one. And it is Tom Riddle's diary along with the Fang of the Basilisk. Try say that 3 times, and I'm not even going to try to. So this is going to be this week's progress keeper, and let's line it up and pop it onto my brioche shawl, and there we go. So this has been an amazing way to get me to work on this, I have to say, because when it often doesn't see love until Saturday night, but it at least gets a few rows done, which is good because it is slowly growing, and it's becoming, I love working on it. I'm really enjoying the brioche, and as soon as I cast this off, I have got to put another brioche shawl on the needles. And I did talk all about that brioche with the yarn that I have coming for Isaac, his Lemony Snicket yarn, and his Nice Guys Finished Dead yarn from Once Upon a Corgi. So I'm hoping that will come in the next week or 2, and I will be able to cast on all about that brioche shawl, and hopefully it'll whip through quickly because I think it's a lot of garter, then some brioche, a little bit more brioche, and then more garter. So, but I am really enjoying doing the brioche. I have a bunch of patterns that I have bought that are in brioche that I have been wanting to cast on for ages. So this has certainly bolstered my confidence in doing brioche, and I'm really loving it. So I'm hoping this fall to get to a few more brioche patterns. So in the meantime, my Lemon Difficult is coming along nicely, and I have this much left of each of the skeins, so I'm not sure how much more this will last me with the brioche because it does sort of eat up the yarn maybe a little bit more than just a regular shawl, but I am seeing progress and I am loving this project. So looking forward to getting that off the needles, and it's going to match my If You Love Pina Coladas hat, which I did in this colorway by Lichen and Lace, the Calm Waters. So I'm looking forward to having that to be squishy up against me this fall. Final thing for my favorite things is a finished object that is currently soaking and waiting to block. And today, after I finish the podcast, get it all uploaded, I'm planning to put the Shawl Society 5 on my lovely little tight wires and get that blocked up so that next week I will have a finished object to share with you. So the 5th Shawl Society pattern is going to be released this Thursday, so that's September 7th, and I'm really excited to share mine on Thursday when it is released, and then to share it in person or on podcast, I guess, on Sunday of next week. And it's a nice one. I've used some nice calming colors, and it'll be a beautiful fall shawl for Toronto weather. And even this past week it's been cold, so I was tempted to put the fireplace on, so I'm really looking forward to being able to wear this one. So it is currently soaking. It will get blocked tonight. I'll have to get some photographs. Oh my god, what was that? That was crazy. A tree just came down 2 doors over and landed on my neighbor's car. So wow, I don't know if you heard it or not, but that was created quite a kerfuffle. Shawl Society 5 will be released Thursday, and it's going to be a really lovely shawl for the fall, and I'm looking forward to photographing and showing that to you next week on the podcast. So exciting times. I have lots of fun things to share with you on brown paper packages this week. I was super lucky to get the next thing I'm going to show you, and it is a little bobbins bag. And early in July, when we were coming back from our camping trip, I was able to catch the tail end of an update, and I put something in my cart, and in checkout I got cart jacked. So I thought, I'm never going to get one of Danny's bags. And amazingly, when she put out her little birds, I got one. So that was so fantastic, and it has now arrived, and it is so adorable. This gorgeous little pink bird, and it's singing a beautiful little song. It's got a little tail there and little bobbins. So just absolutely thrilled to be able to have this for my lovely projects, because who can resist having such a gorgeous bag? And it smells absolutely amazing. So, and I was super lucky again a couple of weeks ago, because I was able to get another little bobbins bag. So maybe next week I'll be able to show that one. But for the meantime, I think it's very important to enjoy the one that I have now, and I'm not sure what my first project will be to go in this one. Maybe those Clark socks. Maybe I'll throw the La Bette on another. So maybe I'll put La Belle in the Maker bag, and I'll put La Bette in here, and I'll be able to take it back. I'm not sure yet, but something wonderful will go into this absolutely gorgeous project bag. So lucky, and Danny just makes the most beautiful things. So love. Now the next thing I have to share is something I said I was hoping that one day I might get one, and I finally got one. And whoops, this is and I'll take it out of the package, the Lady of the Lake. And this is on narwhal, and this is a Vine yarns, and I showed this on my Instagram. It's got this beautiful little speckle. I love that speckle. I love all the speckles, but that one in particular I really love. So when I saw this colorway back in the early summer, late spring, early summer, I thought, oh, I wish I could get this. And it's come available a couple of times, and I finally was able to get it. And I've been getting some narwhal, sort of putting it aside, because I would like to do the Oracle shawl. I do have an Oracle shawl kit with that lovely Neptunia color, but I think I might want to mix and match it up a little bit. So I'm not sure how it will go with Lady of the Lake, but this is the one where I went to my sister's and I tried to get the kit in an update, and I only had my iPad. No, sorry, I had my iPod, not the iPad. If I had had the iPad, I probably would have been fine, but had such a hard time navigating. But anyway, last update, there was some Lady of the Lake, and it's mine. Okay, Scout's just come in from outside and is going to join me because it's Viola time, and Emily loves puppies, and Emily, I think, loved Scout when she saw Scout before, so perfect timing. There was a Viola update a little over a week ago, and I am a sucker for a Viola yarn. And this was in Emily's new shop. I know there were some hiccups. The test mode was left on, so people went to sign out and they weren't able to because it was in test mode. And so it was just one of those. So I hung in there waiting because I knew at some point she'd figure out that it was in test mode and she'd put it live and then we could check out. So instead of hitting refresh like I probably should have, I did get cart-jacked on one item I wanted, but I did very, very well. I was hoping to get a dewdrop on sock to go with this lovely Sea Storm on the sock base. This is Emily's sock, which this and Nora George's sock are my two favorite sock blends. So just very, very different dyers though, where Nora George, Tracy has these lovely bright speckles, which really are in my wheelhouse for sure. Emily has more sort of beautiful tonals with speckles, which once they are knit up are so unbelievably gorgeous. So the best of both worlds, where I've got the more neutral sort of toned down colors, and then with Tracy's I've got those bright happy speckles that just make my heart sing. So probably why I love both of these ones so much. So this is Sea Storm on sock. And then Emily had some superwash that was a limited edition superwash. Just say limited edition, and I definitely have to have that. So I was able to get these gorgeous superwash colors. And I did actually get 2 skeins of each because I am wanting to make a Ravello sweater by Isabel Kramer. And I wasn't sure because, of course, when you're working on a computer, which colors would go best. So I'm leaning towards that, but then I love this, and this is amazing as well. Emily's colors always just go so amazingly together. So this is the Saugeen River colorway, and it is just gorgeous, like all of Emily's yarns. This one, and I think this one, the name definitely got me. This is Summer Nights. So Summer Nights in lovely navy, and I love navy, and I love Emily's navies because they're not just straight navy. There'll be lovely little hidden bits in this yarn that you would never have expected to see. And then I got Lagoon, which turquoise and just lovely, lovely blueness with speckles. And then, of course, I had to have a little bit of pink, and this is Field Thistle. And Field Thistle, I'm so glad I got this because I think it goes so amazingly well with all of these. So now I just have to figure out which colors I want to use for that sweater that I'm wanting to do. So it's the Ravello sweater It is solid in the yoke, and then it has stripes across the arms and the bust area, and then it's a different color near the bottom. So navy will definitely be in there, probably near the bottom, and then I just have to figure out what's going to be at the top, and I'm thinking this one might be at the top, and then I have to figure out which highlight color. I'm leaning towards that, and then having this for something super special. So love, I love, 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 and I've said it before and I will say it again, I love Emily's yarns because they are just so beautiful. And I'm starting to run out of space in my storage bin for Viola because I need to start knitting faster because I have so much of this lovely gorgeousness that you can never have too much, but I do have a lot. So these are the colors I'm leaning towards for the Ravello shawl. However, we shall see. It depends sometimes what mood you're in when you start knitting too. So, and things can change on the way. So anyway, these are the beautiful skeins from Viola that I received this week. And then, as I said before, I got the most amazing package from Karina from Tasmania. And a couple of weeks ago, we were chatting on Instagram, and she said that we were talking about different yarns, and she said that she wanted to send me some yarn. So I said, well, if you're going to send me some yarn, I want to send you some as well. So we set up a swap. Well, I was not prepared for the amazingness that was going to be coming my way. So there is some lovely things that are heading down towards Tasmania, but I am completely blown away by what arrived here. So I already showed the tee, and then I got the cutest little Tasmanian Devil card, and this will be going on the mantle. And isn't it just so adorable? So lovely card, and huge bag of yarn. I mean, this was a big package. It was way more than I was ever expecting. Karina said she was going to send me some absolutely amazing yarn called Zelana Kazi. And she did. And it is super soft. She says it's fantastic for socks. And it is an amazing color. It's like a blue-gray, and I love this color. And so she says it's really great for socks, hard wearing. So I'm excited to try this out to make some socks. And Karina also sent some Zelana Air, and this is possum, and it is so soft. It's, oh, just amazing. So super excited to knit these up too. But that was not all that came in this package. So in addition, and this is super, super soft, this is white gum wool. So where I sent her some Canadian yarn, she definitely sent me some Southern Hemisphere yarn, and you cannot believe how soft this is, and it's just, oh. And who does not love a cream colored yarn? I mean, it's just always a classic one to have. So squishy, lovely, yummy yarn. And then, as if that wasn't enough, she sent this Nanaba artisan yarn in this amazing green ombre. And it is super soft as well, like super, super soft. It's white gum wool, and just, oh, I love green. I do. So I'm excited to figure out what I'm going to make with this. This is going to be something super, super special for sure. So, and soft. Oh, wow. And as if that wasn't enough, there's more. I know, there's more. Like, crazy. Skein. I know some people say skein, I say skein. Eventide on top draw sock. And it is super soft, and look at these gorgeous colors. Pinks and turquoises and purples and greens. I know. And that is not all. Karina has got me down to a T. Pink and green will get me every time. And then throw some purple in too, like unbelievable. So again, this is top drawer, I want to say top drawer. This is top draw sock. And this is Alpine and Metropolis. And just, oh, Karina, thank you. I hope you like your package as much as I've loved mine, but I can't imagine it. I just can't. I know there are a few little goodies heading your way, but nothing like the amount that you have spoiled me with. And skein is always so amazing to work with, and I have a little bit of a stash of it, and I'm really quite stingy about when I use it. So now I've got a couple more to add, and oh, these colorways. I'm going to have to start diving into it a little bit more, because it's always one of those things. You've got the stash, you got to use them, kind of like your good china. So thank you, Karina. Just this package on Friday afternoon, it had been a long week. I had been called in for the extra day on Friday to go to work and to get some things done, and to come home at the end of the day to this amazing package was beyond amazing, because what else can I say? So I have some amazing yarn to knit up and figure out what I'm going to knit up, and I'm excited about that for sure. So anyway, that is brown paper packages for this week. Okay, time to get serious. It is Labor Day, and for me that often means fresh starts. A lot of people start diets at that time of the year, and that is what I am going to try to do. I am going to try to start an actual yarn diet. And there are a few people out there who have watched the podcast and know that I've already sort of declared myself going on this yarn diet. I'm now putting it out there on YouTube that I am going to try my best to not purchase any yarns for a while. So I'm going to try and go on a yarn diet between now and Christmas. Now, of course, there will be probably a few things that do need to come in the house. So if, for example, when KnitVent is testing and I need a chunky yarn or I need a DK weight that I don't have in the house, I may have to sort of bring that in to work on. But for the most part, fingering weight yarns, I've got lots of those on site, so I have to try and really cut back on not purchasing any more fingering weight yarns, no matter how gorgeous they are. Now, things that I've already purchased that might be coming in the next little while, they are, of course, fine because I've already purchased them. So those are a couple of clubs. I have 2 Advent packages that I had ordered in advance. So one, I was so super lucky to get the So Sweet Violet Advent bag with little things in it from Jules, and I was also lucky enough to get a Nora George Advent calendar, so that will be heading my way. I also have some clubs and some other little things that will be trickling in that I purchased over August, because I kind of went on that last supper. You know you're going on a yarn diet, so what do? You splurge, and that is what I've done. So there will be some things trickling in. And one thing I'm going to admit that I've been doing this past week is I only showed you part of what I received, and I actually have 4 unopened packages over to my left here that I will open up at some point next week, because I know I'm going to go through like crazy withdrawal. And I did order some yarn from Jane of Hedgerow, and I said, don't send it to me until like mid-September or maybe even closer to October, because by that point I'm going to be having the shakes. So she's actually holding it back for me and not sending it right away, because I'm sure I'm going to have like serious withdrawal from going on this yarn diet. So I'm going to try my best, just like everybody does try, and hopefully, I mean, I've got lots of yarn. I need to learn to appreciate my yarn. So on weeks where I don't have brown paper packages, what I'm going to try to do is to have maybe blue plastic bins, because that's what I have upstairs, and maybe we can share some of the beautiful things that I already have on site, because I have a lot of beautiful yarn. So there won't be nothing to share. There'll always be something, but it just may be something that needs to be re-examined and reappreciated and finally knit, hopefully. So that is what's up for True Confessions, and I need to be strong. I need to be strong. So we'll see how this goes. So, and the hard part's going to be like those special clubs. My gosh, they're going to be so hard. So breathing through it, deep breaths every day. At least there's no Instagram at work again. So not like I ever have time to look at the internet while I'm at work. But so that will hopefully help I'll miss most of the updates. So that should definitely ease some of the pain of going on this yarn diet. So for today, that is my true confession. Wish me luck. I'm going to need it. Yep. Thank you so much for joining me on the Comfy Red Couch this week. I hope that you've had a chance to just sit down and relax, enjoy a beverage, and work on your project of choice, and that I see you again next week on the Comfy Red Couch. Have a wonderful week. Bye. Miss sent to Sweden. How does that happen? I wonder if I'd fit in here. I don't think I'd mind being Miss sent to Sweden. Might be kind of fun.